Hi, welcome to Urban Insights. I'm Jayashree Kurup. I have with me Vikas Brahmavir. He's from Boson Whitewater, a, uh startup that is working in the wastewater space, converting water into usable water, wastewater into usable water. Thank you so much for joining us, Vikas.
Thank you very much for having me here. It is a pleasure being here and
Because first of all, you've recently raised funds, so we will talk about that later in the session. But first, tell me about your model and when did you start? How did you start? Where did you get this idea from?
right. So in terms of actual start as an entity, we started in 2008. So it's a pretty long time, 16 years since I've been working on water. But recently from 2019, we started focusing on wastewater recovery. So the idea, if you see Western countries, they start their water management based on the wastewater going out of the city. That's where they start. In our cities, we start from the fresh water coming to our reservoir and plan our distribution. This one thing is what will make the city sustainable, is what we feel, because the wastewater going out of the city is more predictable than the fresh water in terms of rain coming to the city. So if we're able to manage this wastewater efficiently, we thought this can make the cities of India sustainable in terms of wastewater reuse. So while I was in the UK many years ago, I used to walk towards the Tower Bridge, and not even one day I had smell coming out of the river Thames. So I always used to think, why are our rivers bad and things like that. So my intention maybe boiled down from there. And now, if you see, cities of India gets polluted because of the wastewater going back to the lakes, back to the streams. If we're able to utilize that wastewater and bring it back to the cycle, I think that's the way forward for cities to become sustainable.
Right. Especially because cities are in a crisis, water crisis, right? Especially in summers.
Correct. So we have this cycle where in the summer we are short of water, in the rainy season we have too much water. So this is the cycle we have always been. For both the problems, the solution is the same. During rainy season, the wastewater goes to the stream along with the rainwater being sent out. So it actually, the infrastructure gets affected. And during summer, anyway, we don't have water. We keep exploiting borewell water. So with this recovery of water from the waste which cities have, we'll be able to map it for industrial water requirement at least, and we should be able to fairly address both the concerns over long term, of course.
Right. Let's talk about the usage, the large scale usage of water, which is the industries, which is for tunneling work, the metro corporations, and so on. Do they need water of a certain quality?
Yeah. So for construction, the quality required is IS 456 standards. That's the standard which construction people want.
Mhm.
For most other application, people want, for irrigation anyway, direct STP treated water is sufficient. But for
Mhm.
most other industrial application, they want IS 10500 or very high quality water for their industrial application. So what people normally do is they buy exploited water via tankers or use fresh water and then pass it through RO and other systems where it weighs 50% of the water, and
Mhm.
then take the water for their processing. Now,
Mhm.
this way, with this method, what happens if they need 25,000 liters, they have to buy 50,000 liters for their processing because it gets wasted and they have to handle this wastage. Now, with what we are giving is they don't need any additional treatment in house. So the industries can directly buy our water, which is meeting IS 10500 standards with very low total dissolved salts, no scaling. They don't need softener, they don't need heavy metal removal, organic load removal, all that. So it becomes commercially viable for them to buy our water. So, and the supplier of this water is actually a wastewater from an apartment. So
Mhm.
from both sides they benefit. So the buyers will get a high quality water which is sustainable source, non exploited source, consistent quality, and guaranteed timelines, because people will always have wastewater. They'll source it from somewhere, they'll always have wastewater. So
Mhm.
all these issues are handled for the buyer.
Right. And how do you convert STP water into water of the required standard?
Yeah. So normally any STP, it meets to the pollution control board disposal norms, which is good enough for flushing and garden. So we take that water, pass it through 11 stages of treatment. These 11 stages are designed as per a norm called DPR, direct potable reuse norms. So each stage handles different contaminants, starting from a stage called disk filter where 130 micron we start filtering and get down to 0.0001 micron filtration where various contaminants are removed at different stages. So we remove color, smell, heavy metals, herbicides, pesticides, organic contamination, all that in a series of stages. And at the outlet of our system, there is potable quality IS 10500 standards water.
Mhm.
So yeah, and all these stages are remotely monitored with IoT sensors where we don't deploy our person at site. So which makes it commercially viable because we are optimizing the operational cost. So it makes it commercially viable for us, and almost low, same cost as anyone buying current tanker water, and that is the reason it makes commercial sense for people to buy our water.
Okay. What are the prerequisites for this I'm assuming is from domestic STPs, is it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So any apartment will have sewage treatment plant, which is mandated by the government. Any apartment, say 100 units and above, 130 units and above, will have
Mhm.
sewage treatment plant. The treated water becomes the input for us. So the prerequisite for any apartment in Bangalore would be 250 units and plus,
Mhm.
and they should provide us this excess water volume which is available to them, which they are not using it and they are disposing it via tankers or via any other mechanism. We take 2.5 car park area in the apartment near the STP, and they have to provide us provision for the tankers to come and take it. So if the tankers are allowed inside, then near the system they have to allow, or if not, then they have to provide us the plumbing line extensions to wherever tanker has to come and take this. So for apartments, that's the.
And what is the investment for the apartment owners and what is the investment for you?
Yeah, so apartments don't invest anything apart from the plumbing line provision, which they don't currently invest anything. For apartments, what is the benefit is they become 100% compliant to NGT norms. They won't dispose anything illegally to the drain, and they benefit from it. And they some apartments also pay money to transport this excess wastewater outside. For them, it's direct commercial advantage. They don't
Okay.
spend any money on it. For us, each apartment will cost us around 40 lakhs over a period of 4 years. Initial capex say 25 lakhs and maintenance remaining almost 40 lakhs for 4 years. So once we invest, we make the money by selling the water outside. Over a period of 4 years, we recover our capital and then we start making profit.
And today, how many cities are you available in?
So we are currently doing in Bangalore. We have just started Chennai. We have just started Coimbatore, just 3 months old, and we are on the verge of closure for a project in Pune, and we almost have started installation in Hyderabad. So it's all in starting stage. But in Bangalore, we have good enough. We are selling around 10 lakh liters of water every day in Bangalore now.
Oh.
So we wish to do the same thing in other cities.
What is the total demand? If you're giving 10 lakhs, what is the what percentage of the demand are you catering to?
So very small percentage. So Bangalore's industrial water requirement alone is 330 million liters per day. We are at
Okay.
1 million liters per day. So the scope is so high in terms of supply of water. Demand is so high, but the demand is very distributed and currently managed by a unorganized sector. So handling that unorganized sector in different region and converting it to an organized way of supply of water is a larger challenge. That's why it takes generally time to solve at each of these locations.
And do the municipal authorities work with you in any way?
So they have in Bangalore, because of recent policy saying that apartments can declare their excess wastewater, and if they have a provision to sell, they can sell. That one policy came during last year, high time of water scarcity. That
Mm.
policy, along with us, along with BAF, along with many other entities, they got this government order out. So because of that, it is helping. So we are slowly working with the government to formulate new policies and things like that. If they need any on the ground data in terms of pricing, in terms of tanker network, we do give the information.
And do you have any roadmap? How many cities you want to move into?
So 5 cities this year. We have started one everywhere. For 5 cities, where we will do good number of installation this year. In Bangalore, we'll have 40 other apartments before end of December. So by 2026, and we targeted 500 crore liter of water per year saved.
And do the apartments come to you? Do you approach them? How does it work?
So initially, first 2 3 apartments we were approaching apartments. Now we have apartments coming to us because they have excess water and they are thinking if they can do something with their waste. They have suddenly become conscious in terms of they understand that this wastewater can be used. And apartments play in any city significant role in terms of water infrastructure because they have large amount of wastewater being generated. So now they have started coming to us. So now builders also have started coming to us in terms of giving a provision even before they hand over the system apartment to the association, giving a provision for our boson system. They are discussing. We are discussing with prominent builders.
Okay. Actually, what happens in most municipal assets, especially in STPs, is that nobody had provisioned the cost of operation and maintenance, right? They set it
Correct.
up and they never thought of where the cost will come from, right? Operational cost. Also, there is a very large component of power, right? You need power to run these STPs. Is there
Correct.
something that you are working on there also to make it more sustainable?
Yeah, so over time we will make it so those apartments where some apartments they already have a solar grid where They have a portion of equipments running on solar. They're trying to get the STP converted to solar. Then if they have a solar option, we take that power, we pay 8 rupees per unit back to the apartment for the power which we use. In our system, because it needs space for solar panel, if the apartment has that provision, we ask for a renewable energy source to run our equipment. But if we don't have it, then we still pay 8 rupees per unit for their power, so that over time, if they are able to convert that to solar power, they'll make revenue out of that also.
How much investment have you drawn so far in your journey with Boson Whitewater?
Yeah, so initially we raised 3.5 crores from Indian Angel Network, 3.5 crores. So that we deployed three captive installation. We have done some project for Mercedes, few brigade projects, and two apartments. We did two apartment projects. That was the first round, and next second round we raised from Rainwater. We raised 10 crores from Rainwater. During the second round, also the first investors again participated. So all in all, we have raised 15 crores, 14.96 crores we have raised. And with this fund, now this year we will be able to install 40 apartments before December, and which will give us around 160 tankers per day. And we'll be able to sell 150 tankers every day, which is 150 into 12, so 6 lakh 7 lakh liters every day we'll sell. Apart from that, 25 captive projects across cities, which means captive meaning malls, IT parks where they themselves consume. That projects will be installing 25 projects.
And the cost of installing the equipment is always yours.
Yes, the cost of installation, the operation, the maintenance, the power, the distribution, we somehow handle all the problems head on. But yeah, we've managed to do it. So yeah.
Now, help me understand, in large municipalities where they have the municipal STPs, can your project still work there also?
Yeah, so technology wise, it can work, but our road infrastructure for transportation on tankers is still not there. So it has to be a pipe network. If you see Bangalore, there are large 38 or 37, 38 large STPs
Mhm.
where large amount of volume of water is available, where some amount of water goes to the lakes and remaining is either contracted out to neighboring villages, tier 2 cities, right?
Mm.
Now, if we are able to plan our system, technology wise, it's adaptable. But from one place, how do we transport water to different location via tankers? Because the road size is limited. You can't have 500 tankers standing and distributing water. So over time, a government can plan pipeline for these large STPs where it is across the periphery, and they can have pipeline across the periphery, and they can have an industrial water separate pipeline for this kind of water being supplied for high quality water applications.
If for the industrial users, is this water cheaper, the same cost? What is it?
So for industrial user, it is almost the same cost as tanker. The reason being, they buy twice the volume earlier. They were buying twice the volume. Now they buy half the volume. Indirect benefit, it is heavy. Say for example, laundry industry where we sell, for every machine they save huge quantity of soap, and they have effluent treatment plant where the load on the effluent treatment plant drastically comes down, so they save significant amount of cost. So indirectly will be very cheaper, directly will almost be the same cost as that.
And at the city levels, are you foreseeing policies coming where which would then, streamline? I mean, cities, this is an asset that is going to waste, right? Do you foresee policies coming in cities? Are you in talks with any municipalities?
We're not in talks with municipalities. Apart from Bangalore, we have not ventured to the government contracts yet. But what we see is this national draft water reuse policy, which is it is in draft section. I think next year it's going to come. That
Mm.
gives a significant importance to wastewater reuse. Now, once that comes out, people start valuing and measuring their wastewater, which is being currently not monitored, and then slowly each city will start moving towards this policy. We somehow strongly feel that without that policy, none of the cities can be sustainable at the rate which we are growing. There is no other source of water which we can depend on.
Because when you talk about the better quality of water that you're supplying, when you treat the water, what happens to that heavy metal and the pesticides and all that? How do you dispose of?
Right. So when we get into an apartment, we do the whole water balance system in the whole apartment. Right. So now, if it is a 300 unit apartment, they will have 1,50,000 liters of wastewater in the building, out of which 30 to 40,000 liters they will use. They will have excess of 1 lakh liters. We plan for distribution for 50 to 60,000 liters. Right. And the wastewater which comes from our system goes back to their STP cycle.
Okay.
Right. Any
Yeah.
TSS, suspended solids, any TSS gets to their sludge.
Okay.
So we don't add any specific chemicals onto our system. We just balance the existing water within the same building, right?
Oh,
So when we take the pure water out, the reject water goes back to their STP, comes back to us in the next cycle, and whatever is the suspended solids, whatever is the contamination which is coming as sludge, will go in as manure or sludge collection, which they already are doing it.
oh,
Along with this, we take 365 days water balance. So every city in Bangalore, if you see, we get 47 days of rain, which is low TDS water, high quality water. So in our agreements which we put with apartments, we exactly ask if they have rainwater harvesting system, and if they have, what we do is all these 47 days of rain will dilute all the salts which we send as back to the system, which will dilute. So when we take an apartment, we take this also into consideration to balance the salts within the building. So thereby
okay.
no water goes out of the building.
And well, all the best to you. I think this is a great opportunity for cities to actually clean up their act. And what is the how soon can you scale up if more cities want it? If cities approach you, how ready are you to scale up with this?
So we have been asking that question ourselves. We don't know how ready we are. We didn't know when we started also. We just go with how fast we can. We have funds available. It is just the bandwidth. So what bandwidth where our team can spend it, we are increasing the team. We have deployed our team in Chennai now, in Coimbatore, in Pune. So 2, 3 months, 6 months, we should be ready in all the cities to scale faster.
And what is the profile of your workforce?
Environmental engineers, chemical engineers, and all the blue collared staff are ITI professionals, or plumbers, electricians.
All the best to you, Vikas. Thank you so much for joining us. Found this video useful? Please subscribe to this channel for more such videos. Do like and share with as many people as you can.